Hola Hispanic Patriots, here we are again. Hispanic Patriot plays with our Russia playthrough of Russia faction of Medieval 2 Total War. We got a lot of positive interaction from the last one, guys, so we are here again with the as I've called them, Ukrainian Rus, the ancient medieval Rus, and this wonderful game, Medieval 2 Total War. So we're gonna jump right into it, guys.
Yes.
We shall honor the alliance.
Recaptured Kiev, renamed it to its proper spelling, and we're ready to make this the new centerpiece of our empire. We're talking about all the topical things about Ukraine and Russia today. We're talking about more history. We're talking about more politics and opinion. So let's jump right into it, guys. So, as you remember here, we had our 3 main cities here and our burgeoning empire up north here. Now our job is to protect and defend Kiev from all invaders, as will probably be the pattern for some time, and building up it as our new capital city. Very, very nice. So we get to end the turn right away.
If it is a fight you wish, come closer.
Well, I guess I don't want that, right? Let's end the turn here. Alright, guys, so we are brought here again, once again, because as you've seen on the show, Ukraine and Russia have been in the news again because Russia and Ukraine might be looking close to a ceasefire, partially brokered by our own President Donald Trump. So we'll be talking about the intricacies of this deal. Apparently the Pope doesn't like us as much as we thought. Oh well, I mean, we're not Catholic here, so...
Orders,
well, in the game, you guys know we're Catholic here, in this location, but...
Of course.
We are adding a little bit to that, Craig, because we have our knights in shining armor, our boyars' sons. These guys are going to be mainstay of our cavalry as they were before, but they will really help us in the field battles. Very good. The Polish army has decided to leave, as they should. We don't want to anger them. Don't want to frustrate the Poles now. Definitely smart Ukrainian strategy right now. Do not upset the Polish. Alright, so we need money more than anything out of Kiev, and we need we need access to the Black Sea. So here we have our little Odessa, Mykolaiv, whatever this is. So we're going to build a port there, some farming, and just the basics. You know, the basics, guys. We need to get back to basics here. And money, that's what we need the most of right now. So everything we are building right now, it is based on a need for money.
Your will shall be obeyed!
So guys, let's talk about Ukraine and Russia. Let's talk about this. We have our princess here. She's going to talk to the Hungarians.
With pleasure.
Another thing. So let's start off with that. Let's start off with something very interesting. Starting off, first of all, let's bring our boyar sons,
my king.
Our cavalry,
my lord. My lord.
Our best infantry right now.
My lord.
With
Orders,
Mikhail
my lord.
over here, the son over here. And let us do what the Ukrainians want to do and take over the Crimea, shall we? Let's take over Crimea. Onward to Crimea. Crimea or bust. Alright, guys. So, let's start off with this. The fact that Marco Rubio, our own Marco Rubio, has, in fact...
My lord.
Pressured. This is very big, guys. Pressured the Hungarian foreign minister.
Of course.
We are not leaving Novgorod.
March.
Apparently we need every man that we can get right here. Alright, good to know. We want to take out these rebels over here. We'll probably wait until our
will make them fear
Grand Prince's army shows up. We'll do it that way. We'll do it that way. No need for riots. We're not BLM over here. So, we're also not the Democrats, but trying to facilitate riots. But jokes aside, guys, this is huge. The fact that Marco Rubio could at all pressure
no further
the Hungarians. What did Marco Rubio pressure the Hungarians to do? He pressured the Hungarians to not block EU aid to Ukraine. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. Another thing huge here is that we have a battle. We have a battle incoming. Now, we are outnumbered a little bit, guys. We are outnumbered. However, they are sallying out. And we have our general. So, early action here on Hispanic Patriot plays. Russia, Russia, Russia. The Battle of Helsinki. Let us do it, guys. Have a little American flag here. We're using that for a different recording here, so not 100% relevant right here that America is not born yet.
Await
but
my order.
you know what? A real the America in your hearts has been here forever. That sounds vaguely beautiful, doesn't it? I think it does. So they are sallying out right away. So we have no time for fancy tricks or anything like this. We need to get into formation fast and get that crossbow militia. This crossbow militia is going to kill us if we don't attack them right away. So let's get them.
Move on!
Oh, that's not great for them right here. Okay, we're gonna run. We're gonna run for right now because that is a huge advantage we have with our cavalry.
Units, move out!
I don't know what they're trying to do here. Run after our cavalry, but it's not working so well. I don't know what these guys think they're doing, going into formation like this, getting hit by arrows. Alright guys, they are trying to hit our militia. We cannot let them do that. Oh, very nice, guys. Our spear militia
the
have
enemy
killed their general.
Without him,
Very nice, very nice. They are
their
running.
will to fight.
They are running. Sorry, Berg 4. If we get these Viking rebels over here with the cavalry, which we will win
Only
the battle right away.
half the enemy force remains.
Looks like these guys are fighting to the death, which is not ideal for us right now. We actually want them to run away. Here's what we're trying to get them to do. Okay, they're just broking and routing regularly now, which is fantastic. Because if we can get these guys to rout before the crossbowmen make it back to the square, we might have them. Alright, it doesn't look like... It looks like we'll have to fight to the end, guys. Get the archers, get them on the rams. Oh, they're not doing so hot right now, as you can see. And not just because it's Scandinavia.
Look how our all
Very nice,
civilized
guys.
people
Wasn't
will
that
be
quick?
awed by the victory we have won here today.
They sallied out. We hit them back. They surrendered. Very common in the medieval age. We barely lost any men, and we have a whole new territory. This is fantastic, everybody.
They deserved nothing less than
All
death.
right, sorry, Finns,
They
but
are
we love
broken.
you, but we're gonna need your
We
gold.
are triumphant.
Very nice. New family member, Zub. Very nice, brother Zub. Very nice, very nice. You don't see a lot of Russians with these old names anymore. Zub, one of them was Miroslav. Ivan even is not as popular as it used to be. One of the old princes of Russia used to be named Gleb. You very, very rarely see anybody with that name. Although, shout out to Gleb from the Young Republicans. We really appreciate you guys over there. So, we are going to continue to build up our economy. The faster we build that, the longer we'll have it, and that's the biggest thing. We want to build castles here in Helsinki. That's going to help us make military units. We can always build castles into towns. You cannot build towns into castles. It's a larger, smaller type thing going on here.
Your will shall be
Let's see how
obeyed.
many troops we can leave it. Basically, castles barely need anything or anybody. We can actually leave it probably uninhabited.
My
and it
lord,
would be fine.
forward.
But we won't do that because that
I will
leaves
make
rebellions
them
very
fear
quickly.
you. Yes.
All right, so let's build another spear and archer militia. That won't tax us very much in terms of resources.
How may I serve?
Want to check to make sure
As
there's
you
no one
wish.
running around towards
I
Riga
shall
here.
stop and
Another
pray.
reason why
Sire.
we put our spy over here to check out Crimea, but we won't need him anymore. We want
Very
him
good,
on
Lord.
the Polish
Orders,
border.
my lord.
Very
Yes.
important.
Yes. Yes, lord.
So it'll take us a couple turns to get
My lord.
everyone to where they need to
Men,
go.
march!
That's perfectly fine, though.
We go no further this day.
Might send the
Yes.
Kazakhs up, but we don't have any other bow cavalry, so we'll leave them there. We have Druzhina now. These are very, very good cavalry. We'll stick with the Boyars for right now because they also have missile attack and about the same defense. So we'll make one for each army so that every general
order.
has one. That will really help our cavalry and in turn a victory on the battlefield. Alright guys, our princess
What
is
do
about
you
to reach
require
Hungary,
of
has just
me?
entered Hungarian borders.
Traveling.
We have a new family member, Alexei, another boy. This is fantastic, guys. Because 3 male children, that means 3 generals going forward, 3 governors. This is fantastic. Not so great. This princesses will always get a secret love trait. It just traits in this game, don't bother trying to control them. I'm just glad that Yisvolod over here has biographer. Authority is massive in the game. It literally it improves your health and government. It improves your economy, improves everything. So we really want those paved roads. Very, very, very nice. And we can get crossbow militia for the city watch. Very important, this crossbow militia, because crossbows are some of the only people that can take out armor right now, besides the relatively unarmored woodsmen. We want to make sure that we keep always building up our
Ready to
potential.
trade.
Always building up our potential here.
Ready to.
Got some new exotics to
Looks
trade
like
with us,
trading
perhaps.
amber would be better over here. But it looks like
You
a
have
Venetian
spotted a
is
business opportunity.
here. We'll
Ready to
definitely
trade.
have to look for better trade opportunities. Definitely after that. Perhaps Antonio could help us find some over here. We have gold and silver, gold in the Balkans.
Your Majesty.
And
Ready
silver
to
in
trade.
Austria. So we definitely maybe want to be looking over there. We'll definitely figure that out when we move out of Kiev, when we build a grain exchange and can move merchants out of Kiev.
Orders, my king.
Yes.
So our spy
Moving
doesn't
into
report
position.
anything Polish within our
Until
borders for right
morning.
now,
Yes.
which in this rare sense is a good thing.
Yes, lord. Men,
Moving
march.
gradually towards Crimea, that should work out very well.
We shall not relent ever.
We're gonna
Your
move over
will
here, get
shall
another
be
a little bit
obeyed.
more money,
Very well.
And,
Taking my
decrease-
men with me.
the cost of the city watch, and then
My
we'll
lord.
bring these guys over
Yes.
and
my lord.
Fight
Yes.
these rebels over.
If it is a fight you wish.
Hopefully we
Come
won't have
closer.
to. I'm hoping just
Men,
auto-save,
march.
you know, auto-resolve, but you know
We
what,
move
I have a
onward.
strong
Yes.
feeling I won't be able to. That would be unfortunate, but that's quite alright. Always a good shot, always a good job to show off the
God
battles.
save
Battles are the big part of this game.
As you wish.
Very, very beautiful.
Yes.
So, why did I bring up the Hungarian foreign minister at the beginning? Why is this so important? It's because Marco Rubio effectively pressured a European ally to support Ukraine. And that's one big distinction. And people ask me, Nick, how do you, that's cool, Mikhail of Kursk. Very, very topical right now, Kursk has been. But it looks like we failed a mission to put some new troops in Riga, waste money in Riga. Well, you always want to not listen to your government advisors when they tell you to waste money.
Orders, my king.
That's definitely something you want to
I
avoid.
look
That is
forward to
unfortunate.
fighting
That
you.
is very unfortunate. Some of our
Battle
troops
will
rebelled.
resolve our
We have
differences.
more rebels out here. People are joining. That is terrible, but you
An
know what?
order.
Then we will just have
Yes.
to
My lord.
bring the justice. Bring this justice together here. Let's see here.
Orders. If it is a fight you wish.
I don't know
Yes.
if we see them.
Orders,
right now.
my
That's
king.
quite all right. We might have to bribe them later on, but that's all right.
Yes. Orders, my king. I will make them
Let's send the
fear
governor
you.
out.
You should fear us
Yeah, very,
coming,
very
my
close.
enemy.
They've got the crossbow militia I told you guys about. Let's talk a little bit about Russia and Ukraine in this
Show no mercy to our people's enemies! Attack!
So, people ask me all the time, Nick, you know, you're a Ukraine supporter. How do you support Donald Trump? Well, I think it's kind of like how you support Donald Trump in anything. You recognize his actions in conjunction with his words. A lot of people say, oh, I don't like the way Donald Trump talks. I don't like the things Donald Trump does, you know, this thing. But if you really look at what he is doing and contrast that with what he's saying, if you find there's a contradiction between the two, you want to go back to a Jungian philosophy here, which is when you can't discern a motive, figure out the outcome. I don't see the outcome of anything Donald Trump is doing to be beneficial for Russia. And that is something that Russian propaganda itself also acknowledges, talks about quite a lot. And our AI is doing something very smart here. They see my cavalry coming, so they're moving towards the forest. These guys can hit armor, so I'm hoping that we reach them before they even get off one volley. And that might not be the case with our heavy armor. They might hit us once. We'll be close. Nope. Just made it. Massive casualties on the crossbowmen, and they are immediately retreating. Immediately broken down.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the
Killed
enemy.
almost every single one of them. Very nice, very nice. Actually, their other crossbowmen are routing as well. So it's quite possible that just a very, very nice fight. Ah! Directly at their general!
The enemy general.
Directly at their general. General Maul.
Will lose their win.
Very bad, in fact.
The enemy army. This is a
Very
clear
nice. 4
victory
losses.
that goes to only
Again,
men of
we had
great
2 to 1
virtue.
odds, but still. Very beautiful.
A crushing victory!
That's the sound
They
of dead
must
distance
fear
right
us.
there.
My lord, orders my... I look forward. I will make them fear you.
So we'll see
If
what's
it
going
is
on
the
with those
fight
guys
you
later.
wish,
If they're bugged, that
come
would be
closer.
unfortunate. He is a traitor to our people, yep. This is why oftentimes, guys, especially if you have low authority, you don't want to leave units without generals.
An honor, my
very,
lord.
very important. It looks like we
Will
can bribe
I
these
be a
guys, so we
part
might have
of
to
a
do that if they're
proposition?
bugged and we can't attack them regularly, or
Yes.
it might be that since they're in a forest, we technically need to ambush them, or allow them to ambush us, rather. Quite alright either way, you know. 2 rebel archer militia is not going to be a problem for us. So these are spearmen we'll have with these this drill yard, this drill square. Very, very, very good unit. Allows us to kill off their cavalry. Be very good. Roads and castles in Helsinki. It looks like they had some population beforehand. That is really good.
Orders, my lord.
And we have an army.
Orders,
So
my king.
hopefully these guys
shall
won't
not
rebel
relent.
again, because that would be terrible. We'd have to raise another army to defeat the army that we just made. But
Orders,
hopefully
my
we won't
lord.
have that. We are now one
Our
step away from
forces are
Crimea.
hidden well here, my
This
lord.
is very good. We will continue this.
Marching to...
Sire,
And this spy will
good
kind
lord.
of be our lookout for Polish people, basically, is what we're getting at with that one. Looks like after we build up our economy, we'll have to build up our military in order to go east. Go east, young men. Go east. And speaking of which, you know, there was another very famous person that came out very close to the White House. But this person is a little different than Marco Rubio or anyone else for that matter. This is Nate Vance. Nate Vance, we were able to increase the taxes on Rigo over here, very nice. But Nate Vance, guys. Nate Vance is the brother, shockingly, of J.D. Vance. And the reason that he has been in the news is that he has been revealed has been a fighter in Ukraine for the last 3 years. 3 years he has been a volunteer fighting on the front lines in Ukraine. So those who think that it's only liberals or people who want pride parades or things like that who support Ukraine, it couldn't be further from the truth. There are such a diverse range of people that support Ukraine. It reminds me very much of the abortion issue, when not everybody was pro-life. It was something that was very easy to articulate was the right position, but yet so many people disagreed with it based on what I would call conspiracy theory or false information. And I would say that about abortion as much as for Russia and Ukraine. So, why was the cousin of the vice president fighting in Ukraine? Why is Marco Rubio pressuring Hungary to allow the EU to support Ukraine? Why is Donald Trump not in any way rhetorically supporting Russia, but also recently, and I mentioned this on the show, that he recently let certain SWIFT licenses, maybe it's not SWIFT, maybe it's certain other aspects of the banking sector, but these licenses that Russia was supposed to have in order to do international commerce have expired. They will not probably be coming back, honestly, ever again. So,
Is there something I can do
the
for
fact
you?
that Trump is doing these things,
Your plan seems
very
is
nice,
all.
very nice. We now know
Farewell.
where Hungary is. Very nice.
With
Let's see if we can get our
pleasure.
merchant there.
Ready to trade.
No, not yet. We need to go to the HRE.
An honor, my lord. I shall ride on.
Diplomatic
Something
weapon.
interesting
Very
to
nice, very nice.
What do you require of me?
We've had great negotiate. We have great negotiators.
orders, my
great
king.
negotiators.
Yes.
But yeah. So I have not seen Donald Trump do anything completely detrimental to Ukraine. I think his rhetoric has been insulting to the Ukrainians at absolute worst. That's certainly how many Ukrainians have taken it. But I have to tell you guys, the political maturity of Europeans and Ukrainians is massive. They understand that we're trying to get them to police their own house in Europe. They understand that in Ukraine we want a guarantee of our investment as much as they want a guarantee of their independence. I shared this with a number of Congress people, but America wouldn't exist unless we were a proxy war in 1775 and 1776. More in 76 and 75. But our 75 really, it reminds us of Euromaidan, of these places. Chucking tea into the harbor is not too dissimilar than occupying a square and building trebuchets, right? Instead of dressing like Native Americans, you dress as militants, in Eastern Europe, a little different, less civilized perhaps, but more character, some might say. But what we have to realize is that Ukraine believes they are fighting a 1776. And that means they're not going to give up. Nothing Donald Trump can do will force them to give up. Will force them to give up lands they believe they can get back. And we'll be talking about the military strategy. People say, Ukraine cannot win. Guys, I'm actually here to tell you, I, in a different life, was going to be a Marine officer. I wanted to be a general, not out of, pride or anything, but because I genuinely loved strategy. I mean, you guys see what I do in Hispanic Patriot Plays. But it's more than that. We played military war colleges. We played all kinds of simulations that soldiers and officers do. And I always found that I had a knack for it. Not exactly a great thing to have if it's ever forced to be used. Those circumstances would be difficult indeed and very, very tragic. But I'm here to tell you guys that Ukraine not only can win this war, it would be unlikely for them to lose this war. And if that sounds strange to you, keep watching Hispanic Patriot Plays Russia, Russia, Russia. And let's hope that we don't have any more desertions. Again, like the Russian army. Ah, are you serious? Another... See, the Russians have no
Yes.
loyalty right now.
Move
What
out.
is this?
I look forward to
What
fighting
is
you.
this? That's okay. You know what? We will do this and we will build up the biggest and greatest military you've ever seen. This is quite unfortunate though, guys, is that we have two rebellions going on, all in Novgorod. But our production is very, very good. Our money is doing surprisingly well. We'll have spearmen for the cavalry very soon, and additional cavalry.
An order! My lord. Yes, if it is a fight you wish. Come closer. Orders, my
I think
king.
this was mostly just the
My
spear
lord.
militia that we had.
Battle will resolve our differences.
So I
Yes.
still want definitely to build up our defenses a little bit. We will have devastation costs, unfortunately, but it looks like Novgorod just wants to rebel right now, which is not uncommon in Russian
Sire.
history, actually.
Moving into position. Very good,
We'll
Lord.
continue this, build up defenses in Kiev a little bit better. And after this, probably focus on the economy. We need to focus on the economy right now. And taking Crimea
Orders,
will
my
absolutely
lord.
help with that. So they
Yes,
barely have
Lord.
anything here.
Confronting the enemy.
Barely anything, so we're gonna go fight them
Yes.
right away.
Surrounding
It'll
and
give us a
besieging
lot
the
of,
settlement. The
economic
siege
boost
is
that we need.
ongoing, my lord.
Let's turn the siege into a battle, shall we?
Yes. Marching to battle
All
with
right,
pride,
Crimea, guys.
Lord.
Let us take over Crimea.
We have chosen the field.
Crimea
Now,
River. Reminder that Obama started this war, not just Biden. So when Trump says Biden started this war, we have to understand he's attacking his political opponent, the guy who was his political opponent at the time. Because you know, the better part of valor is discretion. And it's true. Valorous acts you commit with no one watching is much better than valorous acts you did while rah-rahing and cheering on yourself. That's what Biden and Obama had, really Biden, had done this entire war with Ukraine and Russia. Whereas Obama facilitated the entire war by
Many
giving
a
away
witch
Crimea.
hag will shortly be weeping tears of blood.
Dang.
I intend to send their hell-born sons back to the devil!
Yeah, let's get rid of those guys. We agree. What are we gonna say? No at this point? We all made it here. You know, and I want to address, you know, I've made some pretty stark comments about Russia online and in person and probably telepathically, to be quite honest with you. But I do respect the Slavo-Varangian culture that Russia attempts to emulate, and I understand very strongly the need to learn from other cultures. You know, the Hispanic culture would be nowhere without learning from two separate cultures. But part of this war is being waged to erase the question that we have about the Russian identity. It's partially to get people to ignore the historical falsehoods that we have known in our lives, that we have known about Russia and Ukraine in particular. And I discussed some of those in the first Russia. That the Slavo-Varangians were based in Kiev, not in Moscow. That Moscow, the sort of center of the Russian Empire, what would be Russian Empire, basically came into existence from a need to justify imperial conquests rather than true historical national history. This is one of the reasons for this war. Lies beget lies, and sometimes some people would go to war to protect those lies. They really would. Alright, so we're battering them down right here with our cavalry. I kind of don't want to put the cavalry like this in there. I kind of
The
foresaw an
battle is
easier,
very much in our
easier
favor.
time
If we
here,
remain
actually.
true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
Bring the Boyar's sons in. Your militia's going. Let's move our cavalry. Larger cavalry out if Bolton had enough. Now we've got the woodsmen with their axes. They got an axe to grind. There are Alans. There we are. We're gonna put them on the flank. Oh, I don't know why I had the general run that far away.
Attack quickly!
Another thing I love about axes and halberds in this game, if you hit an enemy just right, they will flip. Absolutely fantastic. The Boyar sons are fighting well. Killing the archers, that's what we need. But they're dying off kind of fast, so we're gonna have them run away. Okay, I don't know why they're running that direction. They're that's kind of what happened. So we'll see about that. And if they only ran the direction I told them to run, it would have been fine, but... In fact, that actually is really, really unfortunate, because we lost basically that entire unit from a glitch. That's very, very unfair and unfortunate, but that's alright. You know, what's a few lost noblemen among Russians, right?
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash
measure
the
of
enemy.
Russian success these days. Hey, we won, but the losses we took, not thinking about it. Alright, we have our spearmen rushing in. This is going to help out immeasurably. Basically, we'll twist the battle. Turn the battle in our favor. Is the surface area.
Only
That's
half
biggest
the
thing.
enemy force remains.
I'm actually going to just tell the archers to draw their daggers and be done with it.
Attack quickly!
Attack quickly!
So, you know, one of the reasons that Ukraine is winning this war, they didn't do what I just did and just sort of rush troops in. Again, I want to take this city as fast as possible. I'm not really interested in deploying tactics right now. I want territory and I want it as fast as possible.
Archers!
My lord, our men are in command of the city.
Very nice. We are slaughtering them to a man. Okay, now they get to be on the receiving end of this. Very good.
By the grace of God, our men have slain the enemy general. Without him,
I was just thinking how much that guy, how nice of a
will
mustache that guy had, and then someone just rolls up and slices his off, right? Alright, let's get the Cossacks out of there. They're taking heavy losses.
Look how our all
nice, guys.
civilized peoples will be awed by the victory we have won here today.
Nice. Captain Prosenos. Now, the reason that name is actually Crimea was Greek more than it had ever been Russian or Ukrainian or actually anything else, funnily enough. And it was also German for a long time afterwards, so anyone who says Crimea
They
is
deserved
Russian,
nothing less
Crimea
than
has been
death.
a lot of things.
Their doom has
Quite a lot of
befallen
things.
them.
I would not...
I have taken their lands.
I would not necessarily say that that they are that this land is Russian. Let's just put it that way. Thankfully, our Boyar sons have survived. Here they are, right there. They lost their experience point, but stayed alive. So I'm gonna count that as a success. Very, very, very nice. And that will get us another 457 coins a turn. Very,
Yes.
very nice. That's what we needed.
Moving quietly.
So, that is Crimea taken. Very nice, everybody. Very nice. Kiss on me is off. Nope, I am not. Nobody can get
Your
my princess
Majesty.
until I'm done using her as a
Is
diplomat.
there something to discuss, mein guter Mann? Very well.
Very nice. That's what we
Goodbye.
wanted from our nobles. And we have 2 more archer militia. Very, very nice. Looks like the Byzantines have declared war on Venice. We don't really care about it. What we do care about is the fact that Riga is now in our zone of influence, in our control, and we can start building up units for them, militia for them, etc. And that'll allow us to increase taxation, which increases our money, which makes us a happy government, even though the people might not be so happy about it. But it's the lot of the Russians to surrender, I guess. Suffer, rather. Surrender... Well, it depends, you know. It depends on how angry and violent the Russian regime is, kind of determines whether its people get to surrender or not. But we have a good defense here in Kiev. This is kind of what we want to keep going on in case anybody attacks. So we'll just kind of use the excess from Novgorod to move on to other places, especially that spear militia. That spear militia can kill very, very, very easily. So we're going to be looking to utilize that quite a lot. And let's see if we can afford another Boyar's son. We're making good money a turn, so yeah, I think we can do that. Let's see what's going on with these guys.
Get marching! We march to our enemy's
We're gonna
doom!
auto-save that. Yeah, auto-resolve that, that's no problem.
They deserve
Very nice.
nothing
We'll
less
the other
than
one.
death!
And rather than wait for all this, we are just
Yes,
going to move the
my
cards
lord.
over here, put the troops
Yes! Orders, my king!
around, and just spend one turn rather than numerous turns to get that down and good. Let's see here. Yeah, you know, we'll pick up another Boyar's son, probably from here, so that they can move up to the general. Don't want that same thing to happen before, so definitely not. So two Boyars. I'd rather have the Boyars than the Drujinas, because again, they're so similar, and Boyars have missile units. So that is good. Spending some more time to, and probably next turn, so we can save the money. And,
I look
kill this army
forward
over
to
here.
fighting you!
And we won't have any more rebels, so that'll be great. See, now one
Orders,
thing
my lord!
is when a general is involved here, usually sometimes you have population growth. Here you do not.
Yes,
Nor a
lord.
huge amount. In fact, what's very funny is that this general
Yes.
actually seems to decrease public order. Funnily enough. So, we will be moving
Yes. My lord!
our troops
Yes.
out of this area. No
Forward.
one's going to enable attack
Yes,
us. No
lord.
one's going to do anything crazy
Men,
like that.
march!
So, that should be fine.
Yes!
We'll keep these guys here just for one more turn, just to keep things around, keep things on an even keel. So why do I think that Ukraine is going to ultimately win this war? Because they're on their home turf defending, and the enemy attacker is the one that needs to gain victories. You know, I want someone to tell me how Russia can win this war, because it has been almost a year, almost maybe 6 months, I'd say, since any major Russian attack on any city. In fact, they actually have lost control of territory in Toretsk city. They have lost control of territory south of Pokrovsk. And, guys, let me just paint a picture for you. Imagine you're in a city, and suddenly a bunch of enemy special forces, just urban guards, you know, people who know how to fight in urban combat, cut you off into very narrow corridors of that city. You know, just little pieces of it. Now picture that if you get wounded or need to be replaced and you see one of your friends coming, they now have to run through a torrent of drones through these very narrow areas. This is hell on earth, okay? The reason that the Russians are eating little bits of fields and tree lines here and there, is because they don't want to take on cities like Pokrovsk. They don't, and now have the ability to secure cities like Toretsk. They don't have the ability to take over cities like Kramatorsk. The Russians were going through hell on earth in Bakhmut and in Avdiivka. And that they had with elite special forces, paratroopers, and mercenaries. The Russians don't have that anymore. They don't have a professional army anymore. They have lost all of it. They have expended all of it. And the Ukrainians really haven't, because again, they're on the defensive. They've been expending mostly territorial guards and militia units, effectively, people who are for the front lines. They have been training their drone operators and special forces for 3 years now. They're some of the best in the world. Some of them went off and took down the Syrian regime of Bashar al-Assad, which you can find our Hispanic Patriot plays Bashar al-Assad in Tropico 5 in the link below. But it's all connected. It's all connected. The Russians had no strength to save their Syrian allies. They no longer have their battle drugs, Captagon, in Syria. That was the production of Captagon, 90% of it. So they don't have their war drugs, they don't have their elite special forces, they don't have what they need to send men into the meat grinder of urban Ukrainian combat. The Russians need to do this, enter hard Ukrainian urban combat 7 times. Zaporizhia, Kherson, Kramatorsk, Konstantinivka, I could be getting that one right, incorrect, but there's a city in Donbass. Now Toretsk again, Hulayapol, Pokrovsk. And I think there's actually 1 or 2 areas that they really probably should take under their control that are urban areas, but they might not need to. But yeah, Zaporizhia, Kherson, Pokrovsk, Kramatorsk, Hulayapol, Toretsk, and one other city whose name escapes me right now. 7 Bakhmuts. Bakhmut broke the record for battle time. I believe it was Verdun that it broke. Avdiivka broke the Somme. This battle around Pokrovsk is set to be the longest battle in human history. Guys, if you can show me how Russia, with its present strength, can take 7 Ukrainian cities without completely bleeding out their entire military force, I would be welcome to have that live debate with you. I would welcome that, because as a military strategist, man, the Holy Roman Empire going to war with the Moors, right? Moors mad. Hey, Moors mad. If anyone can show me that, I would love to see that, because that would be a military miracle. And instead of being on the internet talking about being pro-Russia, you really should probably, like join West Point or something if you really know how Russia can win this war, because I ain't seizing it. I don't seize it, boss. I don't seize it. So one thing we can see is that taxes and trade, everything, whatever, but farming. Now, farming is the basis of money right now, because it is the medieval ages, etc. We definitely want to be farming, building more farms, building more agriculture. We'll be doing that. That's to say, I don't know why I can't rebuild my Alon heavy cavalry.
My lord.
You know what? They can.
Orders, my king. Yes.
We'll be able
Orders,
to
my lord.
repair these 2 units at Smolensk and use them to
yes.
drive off any enemies. Very nice indeed.
Move out.
3 units here.
Yes.
Here. That should be quite alright.
Move out.
So we'll move these guys to Smolensk.
Honest ambush
it'll take a
set,
while,
my
but it is what it is. The speed of movement in this game, given that, guys, each turn is 2 years, is a little unrealistic. I will go ahead and admit that. A bit unrealistic.
I will make them fear you. Orders, my king. Orders, my king.
Alright, let's leave some units behind. Let's get these guys.
Leave your mercy behind, men. We shall
Done
show
and
them.
done. All the rebellions around Novgorod are done. Very nice.
They
Very nice.
deserve nothing less than death. Your will shall be obeyed.
Very nice, everybody. So we'll be able to
How may I serve?
be
As
content
you
with
wish.
that.
Sire.
Still
Very
nothing on the
good
Polish
lord.
border. Alright, guys. Very nice. We'll put whatever units we can with this army over here and look very pretty as we move to Moscow and Ryazan. So I think that Trump recognizes that Russia cannot win. Alexandra, very nice. 1 princess. She'll be a diplomat princess. We need another one of those. That'd be great.
What do you require of me?
So let's see here about
Yes.
this silver.
Ready to trade.
It looks like it is about worth the same as
An honor, my lord.
we had before. So we're gonna go.
I
over
shall
here
ride on tomorrow,
to,
my lord.
Venice.
Please
and this
do
gold
not
mine over
ask
here.
the impossible of me.
And we will see if
Not somewhere a lady should
if
be
that's
going.
worth it. We do have another merchant over here, so we'll probably send him over there. Ports, farms, that's what we need. Probably the farm first, because that allows larger buildings over time. So definitely want
Yes,
that.
Lord. Men, march!
So I think that Donald Trump recognizes very, very coherently that Russia cannot win this war. That another thing, and I don't want to say this as a negative for Donald Trump. You all know that I am a Trump supporter, but there was a point in, I'm gonna say, about 2 weeks ago to a week ago, where I really felt that Donald Trump was giving what I can only describe as completely politician BS answers in regards to diplomacy on Ukraine. Now, I think now he has a coherent strategy.
God's servant.
I think now they realize, oh no, this guy is unorthodox. That's unfortunate. Thankfully, he is a bishop. He's unorthodox. What is he, Catholic? But so I think that Donald Trump is very well aware that Russia cannot win this war. I think he's getting the right intelligence, but I don't think he was right away. I think that there has come a point for Donald Trump where he had to look at his advisors and say, these Russians are effing with us, aren't they? These Russians are messing with us, aren't they? Like they have no interest in peace. They have no interest in whatever the hell they're talking about. I don't know what the hell they think they're doing. I really think that that's kind of where Trump is at this point, is looking at Russia as going, what the heck?
Yes.
Because that's how
into position.
every reasonable diplomatic person that I know has taken pretty much every Russian action. I'd almost have to say every single Russian action so far. It's been frankly disgraceful and really ridiculous at times. The attitude and behavior of the Russians. That's really all I can say, is that they have been totally unreasonable and frankly dangerous in diplomacy. They have not been clear or honest with us. And we were acting like the Ukrainians were. Now, the Ukrainians were trying to play a little fast and loose
Know
with us.
your enemy.
But nowhere
Forward.
near
I am not here to
where
negotiate.
Russia
we
does.
move
Nowhere
onward
near
tomorrow.
the obstruction and
We
the
go
lies
no further this day, my
that
lord.
the Russian diplomatic service will put into your face as a foreign diplomat, as anyone who is watching diplomatic communications, anyone who with eyes to see. So we've got a crusade,
Holy
guys.
Bible may preach peace, but when it is Christendom itself that is threatened, then it is every Christian's duty to defend all that is holy.
I want you all to
His
hear this
Holiness
now.
the Pope has called a crusade to reclaim the Holy Lands from the infidel, who would deny Christian pilgrims their right to visit the holy places. It is time for the armies of Christendom to put aside their differences and unite under one banner, the sign of the cross, and give back God's children what is rightfully theirs, or die trying.
Isn't that beautiful? Imagine seeing that since you were 12 years old. Guys, this war against Russia, I believe it is a crusade. I believe it is a crusade because you have a Christian people, which are the Ukrainians, fighting a multicultural, multi-confessional, multi-religious federation. That's the words of Vladimir Putin, not me. And Vladimir Putin describes himself as the farthest thing from a populist. You can go ahead and look up that.
Sire.
This is a crusade, and that is the Crusader spirit. That when Christianity itself is threatened, FDR, if you listen to FDR, his rhetoric is basically completely secularized Crusader logic. Completely secularized Crusader rhetoric. He has this beautiful quote. There are times where man must defend not only his home, but his faith in humanity itself. And that's what the Crusades ultimately were. What the Crusades really were down in the heart was the first international peacekeeping mission. People from all over Europe with nothing to tie themselves together besides a universal Christian set of values. That is what brought them to the Holy Land. And that is what is bringing Christian volunteers to Ukraine, is this idea that Christians, when attacked, must band together in order to fight back
Yes.
against
Very good
what is
word.
pure evil. Not just what is an
Moving
enemy
into position.
of ideology, not only just
Yes,
an enemy of
Move out.
our
If
values.
there was a path here, It is gone
but
now.
enemies of our civilization, enemies of our religion, enemies of every single one of us. That is what we have to recognize we're facing. And until we do, like the early Christians in front of Islam, we will be conquered by a force we do not understand until the only thing we understand about it is that we need to fight it. You know, the entire Mediterranean used to be the Roman Empire, and a beautiful common market of trade and wealth. Today, or rather, you know, right now in the medieval ages, it is a battleground, and would be a battleground from the 700s, 600s, to the 1800s, until we landed on the shores of Tripoli, us Americans, and started this idea that Europe doesn't have to put up with this anymore. America has a long-standing tradition that goes back 200 years of fighting Islamic terrorism. That's something a lot of people don't know or understand. We also have 100 years fighting Russian imperialism. What we have to understand is that Islam and Russia are our greatest enemies right now. And China is sitting on the sidelines hoping that we don't see them as an enemy. And if we can't even see Russia as an enemy when it is literally murdering Christians, cutting off the private parts of Christian soldiers to use in dark rituals. This is what these shamanist buryats do. They abuse Christian women. Right here is what's called Mariupol, Mary's city on the Azov Sea. That is what these people did. That is what the Turks, the Seljuk Turks, who prompted the First Crusade, they would do terrible things to Christians with bowstrings, and you don't want to know about it. Terrible, terrible things. And hearing about those things and being hurt by knowing that those things were going on, that is what started the Crusades. That is what brought Christians to say, I will sacrifice for people
Sire,
I have never met.
Very good, Lord.
I will
Continue
sacrifice
on tomorrow.
for people who I do not know, solely with the understanding that they are Christian brothers and sisters under attack. And to be honest, folks, I really wish that we would feel that way about Ukraine. You know? Wonderful farming, we reap what we sow. And that's what we have to remember, is we will reap what we sow out of the Ukraine war. So if we sow nothing, we will gain nothing. If we sow Russian disinformation, we may receive a Russian victory. And that is not what we are looking for as Christians. We are looking for a victory of those who believe they are fighting for freedom. No one in Russia believes they are fighting for freedom. You can ask them. They're fighting for money. They're fighting for darn near everything but ideology at this point. The ideologues have long been killed. Long dead. There is no longer a ideological, moral reason for this war on the Russian side. The Ukrainians have it. They have Christianity. They have nationalism. They have strong borders. They have nationhood over multiculturalism. You know, if you're an anti-globalist, you should support Ukraine. Because they are fighting the discount New World Order. If you hate the New World Order, God love you. You do not want another one in Moscow and Beijing. The last thing we need is two world orders fighting against each other. Two authoritarian world orders
What
fighting
do
against
you
each other.
require of
I'm
me?
good with the one we have, guys.
Traveling.
I don't know about you. And to be honest, if funding Ukraine militarily with weapons,
God's
not
servant.
money,
On
is
my
what
way.
we need to do in order to prove our American values, to hurt our worst geostrategic enemies, and to prove our Christian values, guys, I think supporting Ukraine is honestly the best trade deal in the history of trade deals. So with that, we have a lot of things to do now. We have rebellions in Kiev.
It will be an honor to defeat you, dear foe.
Gretchen? Oh, that's another thing, guys. You know, I guess we're fighting off some teas, some
I will see you brought to
back
justice
of
in
the
an honest
LGBTs,
battle.
here. I don't know what's going on with Gretchen of Galicia over here, but the next time you join us, guys,
Face me in the open. It will be
for Hispanic
glorious.
Patriot plays Russia, you will see us hopefully beat them.
Ready to
certainly
trade.
hope for, that we wouldn't lose to Gretchen.
I shall rest until morning.
A little better than Oleg over here, in a proper, male name. But that's another thing, guys. I'll leave you with this. Pornography is illegal in Ukraine. It is illegal to do it. It's illegal to possess it. It is completely legal in Russia, and in fact, it's one of their biggest industries. So, guys, anyone who says Ukraine's corrupt, Ukraine is this, Ukraine is that, all you need to tell me is Ukraine is Christian, and they're fighting non-Christians who want to kill them on behalf of a multicultural empire who believes that allying with Russia and Iran is better than being European Christians. I can't support that. And I can't fail to support the people who are fighting against that. If we support Ukraine today, our sons and daughters might not have to fight World War III. And if we do, we won't have to fight it in Europe. We won't have to fight North Koreans in Europe. That's sick right there, the fact that we have North Koreans fighting in Europe on behalf of Russia. That's sick. It's wrong. It's indefensible. And no amount of SWAT police raids that people lie to you and say are press gangs trying to find Ukrainian soldiers, no matter how many lies are told, that we've spent the kitchen sink when really we've been upgrading our own arsenals, improving our own weapons by sending Ukraine the junk, all while receiving top-notch training from Ukrainian instructors. Guys, I'm gonna be honest. I think supporting Ukraine is the best trade deal in the history of trade deals. We gain everything, and so does Ukraine. They gain freedom, and to them, that's worth any blood or treasure. And they're just asking us for the treasure. We asked France for an aircraft carrier battle group, the equivalent of that in the 18th century, line ships of war and armies. The Spanish invaded Florida for us. God help them. Running through mosquito-infested, pre-malaria vaccine Florida. That's what they invaded for us. The Dutch actually spent the kitchen sink on us and invaded parts of India for our little proxy war. Were we worth it? Was America worth that blood and treasure? I think it was. So I think that a country like Ukraine, inspired by American ideals, who also want to be more than a little country, well, as a Mexican American, I have two ways to appreciate that. And as a Polish American, that makes it three. But above all that, guys, is this right here. The United States of America. So whether you prefer Russia, whether you support Ukraine like I do, whether you just want to make sure that you have a safe school for your kids, there's one thing above all, and that is our country. But we don't live on the moon. Sometimes we have to get involved with things on Earth. And guys, if you want to join me and Ukrainians of Colorado for their Easter market or any one of their wonderful events, I can guarantee you will find beautiful people and beautiful Americans. They come in all colors. And right now, that color, blue and yellow, it's looking pretty red, white, and blue to me. They understand who they are, and they say, we love America, we're like Americans, we're not like Russians, and we want to be part of what you are doing. So thank you all for being part of what we are doing here on Hispanic Patriot podcast, plays, media, interviews. We bring the information to the Hispanic community that no one else does, and we do it with love for la raza, la familia, and for Estados Unidos, for the United States of America. That'll be all for our rendition here of Russia, Russia, Russia. We appreciate you guys joining us, and we can't wait to show you all of the new content we've been making recently. Stay tuned, and stay tuned for very special coverage of the upcoming Colorado State Party chair race. It's going to be exciting, it's going to be epic, and you guys will be with us the entire way through. Thank you so much. Adios. God bless America, and God bring faith, love, and relief to those suffering from war. Thank you.